for Michael Wilbon. Pay attention, Michael. I'm going to try to explain why this happened, okay? You had Jimmy Butler as the heart of your team. He's now gone. All right, but look, it's never easy when you start over. You got to trade your best asset. So they trade LaVine. Forget about how he fits with Rondo and all that. The next move is Rondo gets bought out. He can get rid of $10 million of his money, and he's gone. You get a young replacement. Now, what do you do with Markkanen? You bring him in. Look, I'm even going to say that Dwayne Wade now likely is a buyout candidate. They're going to give him most of this money, let him go somewhere else because they're starting over, and they bring in Markkanen, not in the position, but at least into the roster. So get in there, Laurie. Come on, you can do it. Come on into the – he doesn't even want to come. Now what are we at? They have cap room, $29 million in space. I'll take Lopez out of there and put in the cap room. This is the new look of the Bulls. They're going to have to give some of this to Mirotic to keep, but at least it declares a direction, a new direction where they're younger, they're different, they're going to have some cap space, and it's no longer about that old group trying to do it. That didn't work. It's now a new story in Chicago, like it or not.
It seems like we've been talking about the potential of the Bulls' young core for a while now, and they have yet to show any indication that they're going in the right direction. After Jimmy Butler got traded during the 2017 NBA draft, players like Lauri Markkanen and Chris Dunn showed glimpses of their potential in the first year with the Bulls, and everybody started to speculate that this team could be headed to playoff contention in no time. And Zach LaVine returned from an ACL injury later that same season and showed he didn't lose any athleticism and has proven how good of a scorer he is. The team and the fans felt good about the trade after year one when they ended up winning 27 games. It seemed like the sky was the limit for this Bulls team, and they can only get better from that point forward. Not only have they not been able to win more games, they have shown no progress, and it seems they are getting worse every year. Ever since the Jimmy Butler trade, the Bulls have won 71 games and lost 151, and they are poised for their fourth consecutive top 10 selection. Who knows, maybe they'll get the 7th pick for the 4th year in a row. The Bulls finished near the bottom of the league once again as they finished with a 22-43 record. I don't believe there was another team in the league that blew more leads in the fourth quarter than the Chicago Bulls. I believe the problem lies with most of the best players on the team not having a lot of winning experience and not being able to execute in the fourth quarter. The lack of two-way players is also something that contributes to losing those leads in the fourth quarter. The Bulls have some players who are good at scoring and some players who are good on defense. But there's really no one who's good at both for the most part. That's a real problem with the makeup of this team. Injuries were a big problem for the Bulls, but there's no excuse not to be one of the 22 teams invited to the restart of the NBA season in Orlando. Every team has injuries, some more than most, but the Bulls should have been a better team regardless of those injuries, especially in the Eastern Conference where there are two teams currently in the playoffs with a losing record. The most speculation now for the Bulls concern the job status of current head coach Jim Boylen. According to the Bulls fan base, he has got to be the most disliked head coach in team history, at least in recent memory. And this hot topic won't go away until the new look front office officially announces that Boylen and his coaching staff will return this upcoming season. Jim Boylen owns a 39-84 record since taking over for Fred Hoiberg 24 games into the 2018-19 season. Boylen signed a 2-year extension in May 2019 and brought in his own coaching staff. Not only do the Bulls fans hate him, but some of the players do also. Boylen started off his tenure as head coach by putting players through 2.5-hour practices and sometimes during back-to-backs. The two best players on the team are definitely not his biggest fans. LaVine was seen visibly frustrated throughout the whole season about how Boylen coached the team. Even though LaVine denied arguing with him at the end of the OKC game, there's no doubt in my mind that part of his frustration was about the coach. And then LaVine got the ball on the next possession and pulled up from near half court. Markkanen probably has more of a problem with Boylen than LaVine does. Markkanen's involvement with the offense dropped dramatically from last year to this year. And when he questioned Boylen about it, he was told to concentrate on getting rebounds and leading the fast break. The Bulls players feel that Boylen doesn't quite grasp how to manage a lineup and lacks a proper sense of in-game strategies. Boylen has been known for his horrible substitutions and late-game timeouts.
Not making the All-Star team, but at the same time, you still got to put that uniform on. You still got to come out and perform, and you play with a chip with your.
And a timeout here from Jim Boylen. What are you doing? I've known Jim a lot. Like, what, seriously, like, what strategy are you talking? It's a
Down
25-point blowout.
He has done this on several occasions this season, and like most fans, players on the team were left scratching their head and wondering why a head coach would take so many timeouts when the game is out of reach. When your two best players don't see eye to eye with the head coach, that's a problem. Before the season, many fans thought Lauri Markkanen could make the All-Star leap and start to establish himself as one of the best big men in the league, but he did the exact opposite. In his first 3 years in the league, his third one was his worst by far. Markkanen averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds while shooting a career-low 42% from the field and 34% from 3. Thanks to Boylen, his minutes fluctuated and his confidence was at an all-time low. The game that Markkanen had early in the season on October 23rd against the Charlotte Hornets showed why NBA scouts were so high on him coming out of Arizona. Markkanen scored 35 points, grabbed 17 rebounds, and despite the loss, that's exactly what Bulls fans expected from the talented big man. We thought this was a sign of things to come. Markkanen's confidence that game was high, and the Bulls fed him the ball like he was the best player on the team. But from that point forward, Boylen proceeded to take away his versatility for some reason. Boylen turned Markkanen into strictly a catch-and-shoot player. It's no doubt that Markkanen is accustomed to shooting the 3-ball, but his versatility is what makes him special as a big man. A guy his size with his skill set needs to have the ball in his hands more. Last season, Markkanen took 360 shots in the paint, compared to just 253 this season. And he played almost the same amount of games in both seasons. He played 52 games out of 82 last year, and he played 50 games out of 65 this season. I'm not going to blame Boylen 100% on this, because you can't argue that Markkanen has to be aggressive and demand the ball. But at the same time, you can't have a head coach that takes away a lot of opportunities from one of their best players. You don't just see a drop in usage and versatility because a player loses confidence. Markkanen is still only 21 years old and still learning. He needs an offensive-minded coach who is patient and can maximize his potential. I'm not sure that Zach LaVine can be the best player on the good team, but he has developed into a dangerous scorer in this league. This season, he scored at least 20 points 45 times and 30 or more 19 times. If the Bulls were better at closing out games in the fourth quarter, LaVine would have definitely been an all-star this season. LaVine and Markkanen came to the Bulls in the summer of 2017, but they have rarely had great games at the same time. It seemed that Markkanen's best games have come when LaVine was injured or just coming back from an injury. A two-man game with LaVine and Markkanen should be a deadly combination, but so far it's been everything but deadly. Something has to change, and it's up to the best players and the head coach to figure this out, or changes will have to be made. Both of the Bulls' draft picks from last season showed a lot of promise, and the team should feel good about the future of both players. Kobe White was touted for his offensive skill set and size for his position. Like most rookies, White struggled with his shooting percentages early in the season as his minutes were up and down. Inconsistency was the story of Kobe White's rookie season. He once scored 27 points against the Knicks and helped the Bulls get a win, and then a month later, he had a 4-game stretch where he scored less than 4 points and shot 4 for 26 from the field. Around February is when he started to hit his stride on offense. White is still trying to find a balance between scoring and facilitating, but he often gets tunnel vision and struggles to recognize when it's time to reset the offense. But this can improve for him with more time and comfort. Scoring will never be a problem for him. In the 4-day, 3-game span, White averaged 34 points per game while shooting an incredible 57% from the field and 58% from 3. He was on a roll in the last 10 games for the Bulls before the NBA suspended the season. And in the Bulls' last game, he finished with 25 and 5, but he also had 9 turnovers that game. There's no doubt that Daniel Gafford should have been selected before the 38th pick, but that's to the Bulls' benefit. Gafford's rookie season showed you that he can be a serviceable big man who can provide a huge boost of energy off the bench. His rim running ability was evident from the beginning, as he showed a knack for catching lobs and finishing strong around the rim. He led all rookies with blocks per game and field goal percentage. He is not somebody who is a versatile offensive player, but if he can develop a little more on offense, whether it's a jump shot or a jump hook in the post, that could increase his value as an overall player. But just being a rim runner and an excellent defender is good enough to get consistent minutes off the bench. Second-year big man Derrick Carter Jr. continued to improve his game from his rookie year, and he almost averaged a double-double this season. He's one of the few Bulls players who can contribute on both sides of the ball. His overall offensive game is not what most fans expected it to be at this point, but he has been slowed by a number of injuries. He missed about 7 weeks due to an ankle sprain that he suffered in January against the Mavericks. Foul trouble is still an issue with Carter, which kept his playing time low when he was healthy. The best news for the Bulls fans this season was the hiring of a new front office. It seems that Bulls fans have been waiting for a front office change for some time now. During this hiatus because of the pandemic, the Bulls took a step in the right direction by hiring former Nuggets GM Arturas Karnisovas as Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations and Mark Eversley as General Manager, which means that Gar Forman is most likely fired and John Paxson will be reassigned to another role with the team. Karnisovas comes to the Bulls with nearly 2 decades of front office experience, where he played a key role in the construction of championship contenders with the Denver Nuggets and the Houston Rockets. He's one of the most respected basketball executives in the NBA, and he's now with the Chicago Bulls. This addition will most likely be the most important of any this offseason. This is the one thing that Bulls fans can hang their hat on moving forward. There's still a chance that the front office could keep Jim Boylen as the head coach and his coaching staff. But most of the time with a new front office, a new coach is usually the right move. It needs to happen sooner rather than later. The small forward position is the one position that the Bulls are lacking. The problem was supposed to be solved when the Bulls traded for Otto Porter last season. The problem hasn't been his game, it's been his availability. Porter has been a Bull since February of 2019. He has played in only 29 of the Bulls' 93 games since coming over from the Wizards. Porter has a player option around $28 million for next season. It is absolutely no way that a player like Porter would turn down that kind of money. Porter would definitely be back next season, and hopefully he stays healthy. There are 2 small forward prospects that the Bulls are in great position to grab in the 2020 NBA draft: Isaac Okoro and Danny Avdija. I lean towards Okoro because of his potential on defense, and that's something the Bulls need. But I wouldn't be disappointed if the Bulls selected Avdija, who is projected to be a better overall prospect. Bulls fans are tired of waiting for this team to live up to expectations. But having a new front office should give them confidence that things will change, especially if Jim Boylen is fired. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do it right now for future NBA content.